everybody, welcome to Storytime again. Today's Storytime is going to be about delicious foods. Do you guys have a favorite food? My favorite food is pizza, but I also love rice. Is that weird to love rice? I love rice. And I love blueberries and apples. And I love tomatoes and onions. I really like onions too. What's your favorite? Do you have a favorite delicious food? What would you pick for your special birthday dinner? Do you pick a special birthday dinner every year? I usually pick pizza. It's my favorite. And it's easy too. So everybody that gets me a birthday dinner is pretty easy to make to give me pizza. So they like that. So today we're going to be reading some stories about food, and we're going to be reading actually some of my favorite books. I say that all the time too, don't I? But I have so many favorites. Don't you have so many favorite books? Oh, so this is one of my favorite newer books. This came out last year, and you may recognize this because I came to some schools and read this book too, to some of the kindergarten and first graders. So maybe some of you will recognize this. This is called Thank You, Omu, and this is by Ogimura. And I love this book so much. I love the pictures and I love the story, and I think you will too. Here we go. On the corner of First Street and Long Street, on the very top floor, Omu was cooking a thick red stew in a big fat pot for a nice evening meal. She seasoned and stirred it, and she took a small taste. "What a delicious stew," Omu said. "Tonight's dinner will surely be the best I have ever had." Doesn't look delicious. Omu is cooking a delicious stew. With that, Omu put down her spoon and went to read a book before supper. As the thick red stew simmered on the stove, its scrumptious scent wafted out the window and out the door and down the hall and toward the street and around the block until someone was at the door. When Omu opened it, she saw who was there. Who could it be? It was a little boy. Sam? "Little boy," Omu exclaimed, "what brings you to my home?" "I was playing with my race car down the hall when I smelled the most delicious stew," said the little boy. "What is it?" "A thick red stew." "Stew," said the boy. "That sure sounds yummy." Omu thought for a moment. She was saving her stew for dinner, but she had made quite a bit. It wouldn't hurt to share. "Would you like some?" The little boy nodded. And so Omu spooned out some thick red stew from the big fat pot for her nice evening meal. "Thank you, Omu," the little boy said, and he went on his way. That was awfully nice of her to share. With that, Omu closed the door and went back to her book. As she read, her thick red stew's scrumptious scent wafted out the window and out the door and down the hall and toward the street and around the block until someone was at the door. When Omu opened the door, she saw, what do you think's going to be there? A police officer. "Miss Police Officer," Omu exclaimed, "what are you doing in my home?" "I was on duty down the street when I smelled the most delicious smell," Miss Police Officer replied. "What is it?" "Thick red stew." "Ah, stew," she said, and her mouth watered. "That sounds mighty tasty." Omu thought for a moment. There was still enough to share. "Would you like some?" The police officer nodded. Once again, Omu spooned out some thick red stew from the big fat pot for her nice evening meal. "Thank you, Omu," the officer said, and she went on her way. And so for the second time, Omu closed the door and went back to her book. And sure enough, as she read, her thick red stew's scrumptious scent wafted out the window and out the door and down the hall and toward the street and around the block until someone was at Omu's door again. This time, when she opened it, who's it gonna be? Who's it gonna be? A hot dog vendor? Mr. Hot Dog Vendor, Omu exclaimed. What brings you to my home? I was selling my hot dogs down the block when I smelled the most delicious smell, Mr. Hot Dog Vendor replied. What is it? Thick red stew. Oh, stew. The vendor licked his lips. That sounds delectable. Omu spooned out some thick red stew from the big fat pot for her nice evening meal. Thank you, Omu, the hot dog vendor said, and he went on his way. Throughout the day, people from all across the neighborhood knocked on Omu's door. She fed a shop owner, a cab driver, a doctor, a lawyer, a dancer, an actor, a baker, an artist, a singer, an athlete, a bus driver, a construction worker, and even the mayor. And each time they knocked, Omu shared. Soon the sky darkened, the streetlights brightened, and it was finally time for dinner. But when Omu opened her big fat pot of thick red stew for her nice evening meal, it was empty. Omu sniffled. There goes the best dinner I ever had. Sorry and blue, she sat at the table with her empty pot until... Who could that be? Omu wondered. And when she opened the door, the little boy, the police officer, the hot dog vendor, the shop owner, the cab driver, the doctor, the actor, the lawyer, the dancer, the baker, why, everyone she fed today was at her door. I'm sorry, everyone, she sighed. My thick red stew is all gone and I have nothing left to share. The little boy tugged at Omu's sleeves. Don't worry, Omu. We are not here to ask. We are here to give. Look at that. The police officer carried in a fresh salad. The mayor entered with a roast chicken. The baker brought a collection of sweet goodies, and even the little boy presented Omu with something special in a shiny red envelope. Everyone who knocked on Omu's door that day squeezed inside her tiny apartment, and together they ate, they danced, and they celebrated. While Omu's big fat pot of thick red stew was empty, her heart was full of love and happiness, and it was the best dinner she ever had. And that was Thank You, Omu. I bet you liked it. Did you like it? I loved it. Oh, I love that story so much. Okay. All right. Have you ever had stew? It looks so yummy. Maybe not when it's really hot outside, but in the winter or the fall, to be cozy and have some thick red stew. Sounds delicious. And I bet Omu's stew was delicious. Okay. So now we're going to read a classic book. Do you know what a classic book means? It means that this book was written maybe a long time ago, but it's so good that people still read it even after it is really, really old. And another thing is this book has an award, the biggest award. It is a Caldecott Honor Book. See that big honor, that big sticker right there? That means it's one of the best books for kids. So this book is called Blueberries for Sal, and it is written and illustrated by Robert McCloskey. And I hope you like it. I love blueberries. Do you love blueberries? Oh, I love them so much. And here are the front pictures of Blueberries for Sal. Here we go. One day, little Sal went with her mother to Blueberry Hill to pick blueberries. Little Sal brought along her small tin pail, and her mother brought her large tin pail to put berries in. We will take our berries home and can them, said her mother, and then we'll have food in the winter. Little Sal picked 3 berries and dropped them in her little tiny pail. Kaplink, kaplink, kaplunk. She picked 3 more berries and she ate them. And then she picked more berries and dropped one in the pail. Ka-plunk! And the rest she ate. Then little Sal ate all 4 blueberries right out of her pail. Her mother walked slowly through the bushes, picking blueberries as she went and putting them in her pail. Little Sal struggled along behind, picking blueberries and eating every single one. Oh boy. Little Sal hurried ahead and dropped a blueberry in her mother's pail. It didn't sound ka-plink because the bottom of the pail was already covered with blueberries. She reached on inside to get her berry back. Though she really didn't mean to, she pulled out a large handful because there were so many blueberries right up close to the one she had put in. Her mother stopped picking and said, "Now, Sal, you run along and pick your own berries. I want to take my berries home and can them for next winter." Her mother went back to her picking, but little Sal, because her feet were tired of standing and walking, sat down in the middle of a large clump of bushes and ate blueberries. And there's her mom, still picking and picking away. On the other side of Blueberry Hill, Little Bear came with his mother to eat blueberries. "Little Bear," she said, "eat lots of berries and grow big and fat. We must store up food for the long, cold winter." Little Bear followed behind his mother as she walked slowly through the bushes eating berries. Little Bear stopped now and then to eat some berries. Then he had to hustle along so that he could catch up. Because his feet were hurting, he picked out a large clump of bushes and he sat down right in the middle and he ate blueberries. Oh boy, he sounds like little Sal, doesn't he? Over on the other side of the hill, little Sal ate all of the berries she could reach from where she was sitting, and then she started out to find her mother. Uh-oh. She heard a noise from around a rock, and she thought, "There's my mother walking along." Do you think it was her mother? But it was a mother crow and her children, and they stopped eating berries and they flew away saying, "Caw! Then she heard another noise in the bushes and thought, "That is surely my mother, so I'm going to go that way." But it was Little Bear's mother instead. She was tramping along, eating berries and thinking about storing up food for the winter. Little Sal tramped right along behind her. By this time, Little Bear had eaten all the berries he could reach without moving from his clump of bushes. Then he hustled up to catch up with his mother. He hunted and hunted, but his mother was nowhere to be seen. He heard a noise from over a stump and thought, "That has to be my mommy walking along." But it was a mother partridge and her children. They stopped eating berries and hurried away. Then he heard a noise in the bushes and thought, "That surely is my mother. I'm going to go that way." But it was little Sal's mother instead. Oh, look at that. She was walking along picking berries and thinking about canning them for next winter. Little Bear hustled right along behind. Little Bear and little Sal's mother and little Sal and little Bear's mother were all mixed up with each other among the blueberries on Blueberry Hill. Little Bear's mother heard Sal walking along behind and thought it was Little Bear, and she said, "Little Bear, little munch, 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 eat all you can possibly hold." Little Sal said nothing. She picked 3 berries and dropped them ka-plink, ka-plank, ka-plunk in her small tin pail. Oh no. Little Bear's mother turned around to see what on earth could make a noise like ka-plunk. "Gruff!" she cried, choking on a mouthful of berries. "This is not my child. Where is Little Bear?" She took one good look and backed away. She was old enough to be shy of people, even a small person like little Sal. Then she turned around and walked off very fast to hunt for little Sal, or for Little Bear. Little Sal's mother heard Little Bear tramping along behind and thought it was little Sal. She kept right on picking and thinking about canning her blueberries. Little Bear patted up and peeked into her pail. Of course, he only wanted to taste a few of what was inside, but there were so many and they were so close together that he tasted a tremendous mouthful by mistake. "Now, Sal, you run along and pick your own berries," said Sal's mother without turning around. "Mommy wants to can these for next winter." Little Bear tasted another tremendous mouthful and almost spilled the entire pail of blueberries. Oh my goodness. Little Sal's mother turned around and said, "Oh, my goodness, you are not little Sal. Where, oh, where is my child?" Little Bear just sat munching and swallowing and licking his lips. Little Sal's mother slowly backed away. She was old enough to be shy of bears, even very small bears like Little Bear. And then she turned around and quickly walked away to find little Sal. She hadn't gone very far before she heard a kaplink, kaplank, kaplunk. She knew just what had made that kind of noise. She found her. Little Bear's mother had not hunted for very long, but she heard a rustling sound that stopped now and then to munch and swallow, and she knew what made that kind of noise. Little Bear and his mommy went home down one side of Blueberry Hill, eating blueberries all the way and full of food stored up for next winter. And little Sal and her mother went down the other side of Blueberry Hill, picking berries all the way, and drove home with food to can for next winter, a whole pail of blueberries and 3 more besides. And that is the end of Blueberries for Sal. Delicious. So, we read a story about dinner with Omu. We read about stew. And then we read a story about a snack, blueberries for Sal. And now I thought we should finish up our story time with a story about dessert. Because who doesn't love dessert? And I think you're going to know this guy in this story. This is a Max and Ruby book, and this is called Bunny Cakes by Rosemary Wells. Oh, this is going to make me hungry for blueberries and stew and a cake. Okay, let's see. It was Grandma's birthday. Max made her an earthworm birthday cake. "No, Max," said Max's sister Ruby. "We're going to make Grandma an angel surprise cake with raspberry fluff icing." Max wanted to help. "Don't touch anything, Max," said Ruby. But she was too late. But it was too late. So Ruby sent Max to the store with a list of things that said eggs. Max wanted red-hot marshmallow squirters for his earthworm cake, so he wrote red-hot marshmallow squirters on the list. The grocer could not read Max's writing. "Eggs," said the grocer, so he gave Max eggs. Max brought the eggs home to Ruby. "Don't bump the table, Max," said Ruby. But it was too late. So Ruby sent Max back to the store with a list that said milk. This time, Max wrote red-hot marshmallow squirters in a different way. Max hoped and hoped for his squirters, but the grocer still couldn't read Max's writing. "Milk," said the grocer, so he gave Max milk. Max brought the milk home to Ruby. "There's a yellow line on the floor, Max," said Ruby. "You can't step over that line." But Max crossed the line anyway. Oh no. Over went the flour, so Ruby got her pencil and wrote down flour. This time, Max wrote red hot marshmallow squirters and the most beautiful writing he knew. Max could almost taste the marshmallow squirters. "Flour," said the grocer, and he gave Max flour. Still no marshmallows. When Max got home, there was a sign on the kitchen door. "Max, the kitchen is no place for you," said Ruby. "Oh, look at that." She said no Max allowed. That's not nice. Ruby finished up her cake. She baked it and cooled it and iced it with raspberry fluff frosting. "It needs something else, Max," said Ruby. "Birthday candles, silver stars, sugar hearts, and buttercream roses," wrote Ruby. Meanwhile, Max had a brand new idea. He drew a picture of the red-hot marshmallow squirters. And he ran to the grocer and couldn't wait. Birthday candles, silver stars, sugar hearts, buttercream roses, and what's this? Why, it must be red hot marshmallow squirters. Ruby's cake looked just beautiful, and Max went out and put caterpillar icing on his caterpillar earthworm cake. Nice. Grandma was so thrilled that she didn't know which cake to eat first. The end. Which cake would you eat first? I would probably eat the fluffy strawberry one, even though I love Max and he did a really good job on his cake, right? The end. Okay, guys, I'm hungry, so I'm going to go make something to eat. I hope you have a great day. See you next time. Bye.